Wait, did she just say she needed the dog to access a bar because of a mental disability? If that's true, that's serious. But if not, courts take major issue with manipulating emotional support laws. Because when you misuse them, you hurt those who genuinely rely on service animals every day.
Did you know he was living with his mother and Floyd?
He was not. He was living in an ice castle in Siren, Wisconsin, in his buddy's front yard.
Okay, so when you gave him
That's right.
Sammy, he was living in an ice castle.
Correct.
And so you thought that that was a stable environment. Well, we have 10 minutes and then we're going to have to stop because I have another hearing because it took you 21 minutes to do what you needed to do to come to court.
And we're officially on the record. What sounds like a simple property hearing is about to unravel into a full-blown emotional tug-of-war. 2 people, 1 dog, and a judge who's about to decide more than just possession. He's about to weigh loyalty, stability, and intent. Let's dive in.
We will go on the record in the matter 25 SC 97, Michael Hess versus Rose Hutari. Appearances are we have Mr. Hess appearing in person without counsel. Ms. Hutari appears in person without counsel. We're set today in this matter on Mr. Hess's petition for replevin. He's asking that a 7-year-old German Shepherd be returned to him. Basically, that's all I have in this case. This is set for a court trial. It was in front of Commissioner Krupa. However, Commissioner Krupa was not able to reach any determination as this matter is a contested replevin. Mr. Hess and Ms. Hutari, please stand up, raise your right hands, and be sworn in.
You affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
You may be seated. Mr. Hess, this is your motion, your hearing, and so you have the burden of proof, and you are first to present.
Your quick legal explicable. This is a replevin action based a civil case where one party demands a return of personal property they claim is being wrongfully held. And in this case, that property is 4 legs, a tail, and a name.
You may begin.
Your Honor, about April of 2023, Ms. Hutari and I separated, or stopped dating and cohabitating. I moved out. At that time, she gave me Samson, the German Shepherd. The understanding was that I had someplace stable for him to go to keep him, and that I would bring him back to visit. I followed through with those. I brought him back to visit after a number of visits. She said, "I don't want you to bring him anymore. I don't want anything to do with you." So I stopped doing that. Fast forward to April of 2025, this past April, I went to jail for a few weeks, and Rose called my mom, said we had some understanding that if something happened to me, that she would get Samson back.
So here's the timeline. He goes to jail, and suddenly the dog is gone. She says she rescued it. He says she stole it. And just like that, a beloved pet becomes a centerpiece of what feels like a breakup story written by Netflix. Who do you believe? Drop your thoughts below. Team Hess or Team Who?
And she came and took Samson. When I got out of jail, it was my first opportunity to have any contact whatsoever. I sent her a text message. And here is a copy of that thread.
Can't present it yet. You have to tell me
I'm
what
sorry.
what it is and let me know if
This
it's going to
is-
be relevant.
This is a chain of text messages between Rose and I when I first got out of jail. This is the contact that we had. I asked her how Samson was. Can I see him? Can we get him? Whatever. And she was adamantly said no, not a chance in hell. She wasn't going to let me see him. Wasn't going to let me anything. Samson, I got hurt in January of 2023. Broke my foot at work. Didn't heal right. Fast forward, I'm still going through therapy. I have an implant. Samson's been my emotional support through the whole thing up until April when she took him.
All right. You have text messages.
Yes.
Other than her saying, no, I'm not giving him back, what else are you trying to prove
There's relevance in here, Your Honor. She
And I'm
said,
just going to say you have to stop talking when I'm talking. You can't talk over
Alright.
me. I have a court reporter who takes down everything. She can't take down two people speaking.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. In the text messages, the thread was our original agreement. She says why she removed herself from that agreement. And she also admits that Samson was my support and Samson was trying to save me and keep me. And she says that I failed him. And it also points out that Ms. Utari thinks that I should be locked up behind bars. I'm not sure where she gets her information or her evidence or anything like that, but I've not been convicted in any court in this county or state or
That's not
country.
relevant for today. But yes.
I agree. Thank you. That's what I was getting at. Okay, because we're going to hear that. It also shows that she said that, and it's in here, that Samson was trying to save me. We said she recommended that I go see Jeannie Daniels, a medium in Frederick, and I did. I took Samson with me, and
Did she really just say she consulted a medium to check in with the dog soul? Yes. Yes, she did. Apparently, the dog and Mike had a deep karmic connection from a past life. Now, you might laugh, but here's the thing's deal in facts, not feelings or the afterlife. So, they're spiritual. It may win hearts online, but not in front of the judge.
Miss Daniels said that Samson and I have not just met, we've met before. Her first question to me was, do you believe in reincarnation? I said, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not closed to it. I don't have enough information to make that decision. And she said that, well, you and Samson were in a life together before.
I don't know who Jeannie Daniels is.
I didn't either. She is a medium. She's very, very respected in her work area. Rose suggested we go see her.
All right. So what you have to prove to the court is that you are in proper ownership of Samson. I haven't heard when the dog was received or purchased or gotten as a gift.
April of 2023, sorry. After we broke up, there was some concern. I asked her what we're going to do with the kid. She said he wants to be with you. He's followed me around since.
Again, I haven't heard when you first received or got the dog. I'm hearing April 2023. That's
Yep.
when you broke up. I'm not seeing how the dog, poof, came into your life.
That's what I was trying to explain, Your Honor. In April of 2023, about April, was when I moved out. We had a conversation, what we're going to do with the dog. She said he wants to be with you.
When did you get the dog?
April of 2023.
Oh, so he just magically came up in your life in April 2023. When was the dog first received? From Miss Hutari? Did she buy the dog from a
First received.
pet?
First
Right?
received by her.
From anybody? How did the dog come into ownership of anybody?
She bought the dog from her cousin in Pine City, I believe it was. He's 2018.
This date is Cruciale bought Samson in 2018, and Mike entered the picture years later. That means legally original ownership leans toward her. The big question now is, did she gift the dog permanently, or was it just a temporary placement out of affection?
Together at that time?
No, we were friends.
Okay. All right. And then, so when did you and Miss Hutari get into a relationship?
2020. But we'd been friends before that. I've known Samson since he was a puppy, since she got him. She'd actually gotten him for her ex-boyfriend.
You purchased him for an ex-boyfriend?
She purchased him and was going to give him to an ex-boyfriend, yes.
All right. And then you're indicating or telling the court that in April 2023, when you broke up, she gave you, Miss Hutari gave you Samson and said that you would give him a stable wife. Do you have any proof other than your conversations?
Yeah, right. The text messages. There's no denial of her giving them to me. She admits that she gave them to me, that he was my dog.
Okay, where in those text messages would it say that?
Page 3.
And what does it say?
Well, I went through Okay, it says it was never that I didn't want Sammy. It was 100% that I didn't want you in my life at all. You had him and you went there. Sammy has served his time. Now it is time for him to relax and have a normal life.
Where does it say that she gave him to you?
Well, that is her response. There's no denial that she gave him to me from my text. My text. Would you like me to read my text?
No.
Okay.
What I want to know is, okay, it could be a gift. It could be a contract. It could be something of that. I'm not hearing what it is.
It was a gift. There was no contract. Verbal contract. That was it.
Okay, so as a gift, she gave him to you in 2023.
Yes.
And what was the conversation?
Conversation was, she said, if you have a stable place to take him, then yes, but I want you to bring him back to visit.
Okay. All right, and so you would like the court to receive those text messages?
And now we enter the digital battlefield text messages. Yes, your phone can be your best witness or your worst enemy. Screenshots from 2023 show that emotions were running high, and they're about to be dissected line by line in front of a judge. Every emoji counts.
Yes.
Please provide her, Ms. Hutari, with a copy as well as the court. I can have it, thank you. What else would you like me to know?
I'd like you to know that I've been working since I got Samson to make him a support animal, a service animal. He has become an emotional support animal, and Rose knew that before, or when she gave him to me.
Okay, unless you have a doctor's note, I'm not hearing as an emotional support animal.
Yeah, I understand that. It's in the workings. Without airing out all my medical stuff to the court.
So since 2023, when you were in placement of, or you had custody of Samson until April 2025, who paid his vet bills?
I did.
Is he up to date on his shots?
I'm not sure where he's at right now. I don't have his tag. I don't have any of that. Rose has had him since April. But he had his shots, yes.
April wasn't that long ago prior to that, when he was in your custody.
His shot should have been up to date. Yes, I took him up here to the animal wellness.
What else do you have for the court to convince me that you are the owner of Samson?
Rose's testimony itself from when we met with Commissioner Krupa. There was no denial.
What happened in Commissioner Krupa's courtroom?
Okay, can we ask Ms. Hutari if she gave Samson to me?
You're going to be able to ask questions of her later. Right now, you're giving your testimony. She's going to get to ask you questions, and then she's going to give testimony. You're going to get to ask her questions.
Okay. I don't have any paperwork. Samson's tags are on my keychain, and I have no access to my keychain.
Why do you have no access to your keychain?
Because my vehicle is an impound in Sawyer County.
All right. Okay, Ms. Hutari, the court will receive Exhibit 1. Ms. Hutari, do you have any questions for Mr. Hess?
No.
Hearing his testimony, you have no questions.
I know, I can say that I let him take Samson in April of 2023 with conditions that he was able to provide a stable home for Samson and take care of him. I can say I have the copy of the record.
Boom. There it is. She admits she gave him the dog, but with conditions. That's key, because legally a gift isn't really a gift if it comes with strings attached. If you hand someone your dog and say you can keep them only if your life stays perfect, that's not permanent transfer. It's a lease with feeling.
And February 27th of...
Well, there is no dispute that you purchased Samson. There's maybe argument that you purchased him for an ex-boyfriend, but Mr. Hess agrees you purchased him. It was originally your dog. You got into a relationship, And when you broke up from that relationship, you gave him Samson.
With conditions.
All right, so explain that.
I gave him Samson with conditions. I knew that Mike wasn't in a spectacular headspace, and I thought that having Samson to take care of would help keep him in a better place. Since then, Mike has been in and out of jail. A couple of times, Samson has wound up in the pound. I believe when he was arrested in Sawyer County, Samson wound up in the pound then. I have since taken Samson to the vet, the same vet, got his shots and everything updated. They were not they were not current. I have the same text messages as part of the restraining order that I have against Mr. Hess. He has been, I have video of him driving by my house. I
don't need to hear that. That's not relevant.
Okay. He lives with or spends a great deal of time with his girlfriend. She lives in a trailer court where the dog's not allowed to be.
Not true.
You can't talk while she's talking.
The owner of the trailer court said that.
Can't tell me what people say.
Okay, I'm sorry. The dog is with me. He's safe. He's in one place. He's no longer being drug all over the world. He's calm. I have someone who can attest to his demeanor now versus what it was before. Samson is safe with me.
So you admit that you gave him Samson in April 2023 because you thought that he needed Samson for whatever reason, but you said you gave him with conditions.
Mm-hmm.
What were the conditions?
The conditions were that he provide him with a stable, safe environment with him, not with his parents while he spends months in jail. It was for Mike to have him and take care of him, not someone else. And as I said, he's been in and out of jail several times. It's not fair to the dog to have him going back and forth. And I said, at the point that I stopped taking Samson, it was because I believed that Mike was doing things he shouldn't be doing. And I made the choice not to have Mike in my life, not the dog, Mike. I own a business. Things in his character are not something I want associated with myself or my business. The last time that I made the decision,
The jail time, the bond, and the fact that he never got to say goodbye to Samson's messy. It's painful and the court knows it. But remember, what matters here is an emotional heartbreak. It's who provides a more stable, secure, and legally sound home.
I reached out to Mike's mom. I explained to her that when I let Mike take Samson, it was under the agreement that he was going to be able to take care of him, provide him with a safe place to be. And she said, okay, you can come get him. And I went there without any ill will from his parents, and picked Samson up and brought him home. When they did release Mike, actually his first contact with me was when he called me at my business on my business phone and asked if he could see Samson. And I asked how he was doing. I said he was doing well. He asked if he could see him, and I said no. And he asked what I meant by that. I said, you've chosen your road. You've made your choices. No, I don't. I am not going to let you see him. He said, aren't people allowed to change their road? And I replied and said, yeah, we've been down that road before also. And I hung up. Then he sent me the text message going on about a bunch of like whatever past stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with him having Samson. He just repeatedly tells me that I'm wrong and I shouldn't have him. And like I said, there was a time that I had great faith that Mike wouldn't go back down the ugly road that he did. And that's why I trusted him to take Samson. He chose to go back down that ugly road.
All right, so one of your conditions was that he provide a stable home for Samson. By stable home, did you go over what you meant by stable home with Mr. Hess in April 2023?
No, I thought it was obvious at the time. I didn't go into detail.
Did you go over any conditions with Mr. Hess that were clear for him to understand that if he does X, that he will no longer be able to have Samson?
Verbally, no.
Why do you think Mr. Hess is unstable?
He has several open court cases for methamphetamines, narcotics, having a firearm after being a felon. He could still very well wind up in prison. He has I have pictures of him driving by my house, yelling for the dog. I have pictures of him going to my place of business and dumping fish guts and rotten bait into my dumpster. He purposely, when he did that, was sneaky about it, drove around the back where he didn't know that I had a camera. I believe that was on July 13th. I don't believe that shows actions of somebody who is adult enough, grown up enough to handle the situation. I hope that, Mike finds recovery.
Let's step back for a second. What does stability mean when it comes to pet ownership? Is it about money, a house, emotional wellness? The court is balancing facts here, but the underlying question is timeless. Who really has the dog's best interest at heart?
Time down the road, when I believe that he is in a better place, I would allow him to see Samson, but at this time, I don't think he's in a very good place. And I personally do not want him in my life.
All right, anything else you would like me to know? Mr. Hess, do you have questions for Ms. Utari?
Yeah. What communication did you have with me when you decided you were going to call my mom and tell her whatever story you told her to get Samson back? Why is it okay to approach that and not have me involved in that whatsoever? He was my dog, after all. You gave him to me.
You were not attainable. You were in jail.
People are absolutely allowed communication in jail. There is no communication.
You're not testifying right now. You're simply just asking her questions.
I understand. So you didn't get a hold of me because you thought I was unattainable in jail?
Correct.
Okay. I heard something about being mature enough to handle this the way it should have been or something. It's ironic. So do you think you handled this the correct way?
Absolutely.
So in my head, I'm drawing a picture of, okay, Mike's in jail, regardless of why. I think it's okay to just go get Samson, even though it's his dog, I'm going to decide what's best for Samson and what's best for Mike and everybody else right now, because that's my duty, is the kind of impression I get. Am I wrong?
Yes, you are wrong.
Okay, could you clarify that for me?
Your actions showed that you were not there to take care of him. You yourself said that you were in jail for a couple of weeks. You left his care to someone else.
Okay, is that not my right? Would you leave his care to somebody else if you had to take care of something personally?
Situation is a little different. You were.
I don't think so.
Jail.
You're not arguing back and forth. You're allowing her to answer the question, and then you can ask her another question.
Okay.
You were certainly not in jail of your own will.
Okay, I don't think that's relevant. But
Are you objecting?
I am objecting, yes.
You don't think it's relevant?
That I was in jail, not of my own will. I don't think anybody volunteers to go to jail. It's not a.
No.
It's not an option program.
Yes, but it is relevant. So yes, you have to
Okay.
answer. Or it is, her answer is allowed.
Okay. Have you seen the pre-sentence investigation for any of my cases? Have you talked to any attorneys or any legal professionals? And do you know my sobriety date?
That's a compound question. What do you ask?
Here it is, you're right. First, I would like to know if you spoke with anybody in the court system to say that I'm going to prison, or there's a high likelihood that I'm going to prison.
Actually, when we were in front of Commissioner Kupra, he was looking through your files and said, this one alone is 12 years.
Exposure.
And he asked you at that point also, when you went to prison, where do you believe that the dog should be? And you said, with me.
Okay.
As far as your sobriety goes, I don't have a lot of faith in your sobriety, in that I see you in and out of the bar regularly. Even if you're not using meth, you're still using other things. And just a few weeks ago, I believe I have the date written down, you pulled up in front of the Clam Falls bar. Your girlfriend who's sitting next to you got out of the bar, walked into the bar, got a drink, turned around, walked directly back out, and got into your vehicle with the drink.
You witnessed this?
I witnessed that.
What kind of drink was it?
Well, and I'm going to say that part's irrelevant. What the girlfriend does is not relevant to what Mr. Hess does.
Do you have access to any of my urinalysis? Excuse me, urinalysis samples?
I do not.
Do you know how many I've taken in the last month?
I do not.
3.
You're testifying, so that's
Oh,
stricken. You
sorry.
can't
I
testify.
apologize, Your Honor. What harm has befallen Samson because he was in my care?
He was incredibly erratic. He was always on the defense because you put him in different situations all of the time. The only reason that you personally told me about this, is that you were making an emotional support animal so you could take him into bars. And they couldn't tell you he couldn't be in there.
I object. That is not how I said that.
I'm overruling it. It can stay.
He would spend hours and hours sitting in your truck outside of.
Wait, did she just say she needed the dog to access a bar because of a mental disability? If that's true, that's serious. But if not, courts take major issue with manipulating emotional support laws. Because when you misuse them, you hurt those who genuinely rely on service animals every day.
At one point, when I did have Samson, I had taken Samson for you. You had Stephanie Fisk come and pick him up from me at my store. Several hours later, I was out on a delivery and saw Stephanie's vehicle sitting in front of the bar, with Samson still sitting in it. I had to message you, and I at that point said if she was just going to leave him sitting in front of the bar in her vehicle, there was absolutely no reason he couldn't have just stayed with me. You then called her and made her go take him home.
So I did what was right at the time.
Are you testifying or
I'm asking a question. Do you think I did what was right at the time then?
Only after I said that I would go get him if you did not.
After you called me and made me aware of the situation, I did what was right for him, then you're saying? That was a question, sorry.
Probably.
So I hear you use a lot of words, erratic and stuff like that. Where did those words come from, or whose diagnosis is this?
Can I ask somebody to come up?
You may not.
Okay.
You get to have a witness testify later, but right now you are on the stand.
It's the behavior that I witnessed, that I would see. He would walk through the crowd. He was always nervous. He was always high strung. Recently, CarQuest is a place that Mike would often take Samson to, CarQuest in Frederick. I recently walked in the door with Samson, and the gal behind that works there said, "Oh my goodness, where did you get such a calm German Shepherd?" And she was petting Samson, and the owner said at that point, he said, "Yeah, he's like that now. He wasn't."
Well, you can't
and I know
testify.
that's hearsay.
Unless you have her here to testify, that doesn't come into the record.
Okay. I guess that's all that I have.
Where do you get the information about Stephanie's landlord not allowing the animal on the property?
From him, from the landlord, from Craig Swanson.
You had mentioned before something about his insurance not covering an animal.
Well, I'm going to say none of that is relevant. Well, it could be relevant, but it's hearsay. I don't have the landlord here to testify,
Okay.
so I don't know if it's true, it's not true. I don't know what it is, and it doesn't come in.
Point made, Your Honor, thank you. Do you remember when you suggested I take Samson to see Jeannie Daniels?
Yep.
Do you remember what happened in that interview or that appointment?
Yep. And when I got Samson back, I took Samson to see Jeannie, and she was amazed at what a different dog he was in my
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to say it shouldn't have even come in with the whole Jeannie Daniels and you've met Samson in another life kind of thing. Unless they're here to testify, it can't be evidence. It can't
Okay.
come in.
Do you think Samson is a support animal for me?
I believe he was at one time. I believe he no longer is.
I don't have him, of course not.
Is that a question?
No, Your Honor, I'm sorry. Do you think there is no hope for me? Do you think my life is not at this point?
I don't see how that's relevant.
Would you like me to
It's
explain?
not relevant.
Okay. In your text message, you said that Samson tried to save me, but I failed him.
I did.
Okay. For me, that gives the impression that you've given up on me, that there's no hope for me.
It's irrelevant. My opinion of you, shouldn't matter to you.
And here's the twist. Was this ever a true gift, or was it just a loan dressed up in affection? Because if the dog was handed over during a tough time and then reclaimed during another tough time, the whole thing starts to feel like emotional yo-yoing.
If you have hope, if there's hope for you, is so speculative. I don't even know what that means.
I guess I have nothing else, Your Honor.
You have no other questions? Okay. Before we move on, I have perhaps a couple questions for both of you. Mr. Hess, in the texts that you have had as Exhibit 1, I believe you are in the blue, and it
Yes.
says there were 2 conditions when you gave me Sammy. One was a stable place to live. He had that when you took him from my mom's. Was Sammy living at your mom's?
Sammy was staying, I lived with my parents. I left Samson with my mom and dad when I went to jail.
You live with your parents?
Yes.
So you still live with your parents?
Part-time, yes. Well, yes.
Why do you mean part-time? Because you stay with your girlfriend?
I stay with my girlfriend at times, yes.
So when you moved out and broke up with Ms. Hutari, you both lived together prior to when you were in a relationship, is that
Yes.
correct? And then when you broke up in April 2023, you moved in with your parents?
Yes.
And so you moved in with your parents, and that's when she gave you Sammy?
Yes.
And so you had your mom and whoever Floyd is watch Sammy when you were in jail?
Yes.
How long were you in jail?
5 weeks.
Okay. And with the conditions, I think I only see one was that he have a stable place to, and the other that you bring him to visit.
Yes.
And what does it mean by you bring him to visit? You go and you spend a couple hours together, or you drop him off for a weekend?
The understanding I had at the time was that I'd drop him off and let her spend a day or a night or a weekend with him.
And then when did she say, I don't want to have those visits anymore?
I think after the 3rd visit, so approximately 5 weeks or so.
You would say approximately June of 2023?
Beginning of June, end of May, yes.
So you had Sammy from April 2023. She last saw Sammy June of 2023, correct?
Yes.
Now, where she, the condition where she states the condition is a stable place to live, what did you take that to mean?
I thought that meant that someplace where we could lay our head at night. Someplace safe, somewhere where we get shelter, food, someplace to call home.
All right.
A dog in a nice castle in someone else's backyard as a supposed stable environment. You can hear it in the judge's tone. He's not buying it. And really, who would? In court, stability doesn't mean creative. It means reliable, consistent, and safe.
23, when you gave Mr. Hess Sammy with conditions, did you know he was living with his mother and Floyd?
He was not. He was living in an ice castle in Siren, Wisconsin, in his buddy's front yard.
Okay, so when you gave him
That's right.
Sammy, he was living in an ice castle.
Correct.
And so you thought that that was a stable environment? Yes or no?
Yes,
So you thought then why did you say it with such disgust?
because he lied about he omitted the fact that that's where he lived.
How long do you believe he lived in that ice castle?
I am unsure. I very much limited my contact with him. I avoided going places where he was, so I truly am not sure.
But you believe him living in the ice castle in the driveway or yard of his friend was stable?
Based on the people that lived in the house, yes.
Do you think his mother and Floyd are stable?
I do.
Mr. Hess, when did you move? You lived in an ice castle, correct?
I stayed in my buddy's ice castle as soon as I got out of jail. Yes.
When you got out of jail?
No, it was when I left Rose's.
How long did you live in that ice castle?
About a month and a half.
And then so then that was approximately May or June?
Yeah, it'd have been June, end of June.
And then you moved in with your parents?
Yes.
Well, with your mother and Floyd.
He's my stepdad, yes. He's been everything of a dad to me. I can just call him dad would be fine.
And so did you inform Ms. Hutari that you were moving in with your mom?
No,
You know how she found out you were living with her mom?
no idea. By that time, she had said she didn't want to visit anymore.
When were you arrested and in jail for 5 weeks?
Beginning of April 2025.
Or just recently?
Yes.
Did you pay bail to get out?
Yes.
How much was bail?
$2,500.
2,500. And so you're on certain conditions right now?
Yes.
No drink?
No drink.
No illegal substances?
No illegal substances.
You have a curfew?
No. I am under the supervision of Justice Point out of Sawyer County, and I'm in programs for change in, Sawyer County's Justice Point. I'm enrolled in
I'm well aware of it.
programs for change in Polk County.
Okay. All right. Do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have any witnesses?
I have Sharice Miller, who occasionally helps me at my shop. And she can attest to the difference in Sampson now versus what he was when Mike had him.
All right, Ms. Miller, please come forward. Raise your right hand. You'll be sworn in, and then come have a seat at the witness stand.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be over there.
When she's seated, you may begin asking her questions. Charlene Miller?
Sharice.
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 Sharice Miller. All right. Can you spell Sharice?
Chererise.
All right. You may begin asking her questions.
Sharice, can you tell me about how Sampson would act when Mike would bring him into the store?
When Mike and Sampson would come in, Sampson never left Mike's side very much. He was very, very skittish. His ears were down, his tail was down. When I try and approach him, he didn't like being approached unless Mike was with him, and then I could pet him a little bit. But then he would like go away. When someone came into the shop, I remember the huge bark he had, and we just had to kind of calm him down, or I should say Mike did, kind of calm him down and bring him back to the back of the store. Now, since then, it was just within the last couple of weeks when Rose brought Sampson into the shop, and his ears were up, his tail is wagging. He came over and he darn near knocked me over by sitting on my feet and wanted to be pet, followed me around. He's a day and night dog. It was quite an improvement that I saw since he's been with Rose.
But you haven't seen Sampson. You saw him that one time in 2023.
Just when Mike would bring him into the shop.
How many times did you see him in 2023?
Oh my goodness, probably, I know twice for sure.
And that was shortly after the two broke up. They terminated their relationship.
Actually, no, they were not broke up at that time. Mike was just with Sampson and came in just Mike and Sampson. Rose was not at the shop at that time.
All right. So when you saw Sampson back in 2023 at the shop, you believe Mr. Hess and Miss Hutari were still in a relationship?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Other questions, Miss Hutari?
No.
You have questions for Ms. Miller?
No, I don't.
All right, you may step down. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any other witnesses? All right. One last time for either of you to provide me with any testimony, any evidence.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, argument, Mr. Hess.
None.
Ms. Hutari, any argument?
No.
All right. Well, when you look at this case, this is Republican, this is dealing with an animal. An animal is a piece of property. I know to people it feels like a kid, as you explained, Mr. Hess. I too have dogs. I have cats. They become part of your family. Animals can feel like they are members of your family. So I understand that. And I understand how both of you feel very strongly towards Samson. You both want him to be healthy. You both want him to be happy. And you want him to thrive. Originally, in the beginning, Miss Hutari was the 100% owner of Samson. She purchased him back in 2020. She may have purchased him for an ex-boyfriend and gifted him to the ex-boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend didn't take him or have him, so he remained property of Miss Hutari. You both got into a relationship, and then in about, well, she purchased him in 2018. It was 2020 when you got into the relationship after being friends for a while, and then you terminated your relationship. You went your separate ways in April of 2023, and you broke up. Both of you admit that this was a gift, that Miss Hutari gifted Samson to Mr. Hess. You both indicate that there were conditions upon this gift. So this is a gift with conditions, and it is something that can be done. It's a conditional gift. It means a transfer of property where the recipient must fulfill specific conditions, not only to receive, but to keep this gift, this property. And the two conditions were, one, that Mr. Hess give a stable place for Samson to live, and two, that Samson be able to visit with Miss Hutari. Sometime down the road, Miss Hutari, after approximately 3 visits or so, wanted to sever all ties with Mr. Hess, and you indicated, Miss Hutari, you were done. You didn't want to have those visits anymore. You didn't want to see Mr. Hess because seeing Samson means Mr. Hess comes with him. And so you cut off, or you canceled and you terminated that condition. So what remains is the condition of stability or stable. I have in writing in a text message that one of the conditions was a stable place to live. And that was put into a text from Mr. Hess to you, Miss Hutari. Miss Hutari, when you testified, you indicated that you did have the condition of that he have a stable environment. When I asked you what that meant, you said, well, we didn't talk about it. I didn't explain what that meant to have a stable environment with Mr. Hess. That means that term is not defined. It needs to be defined. You need to say you need to have a stable environment where he's going to have a place to live. He's going to have food. He's going to have a bed to sleep in. He's not going to be subjected to this, that, or the other. I understand your concerns that he's left in a car while Mr. Hess is in a bar. You didn't define stable. You didn't define stable environment. And I heard the testimony of Miss Miller. She's a great friend and a great employee, and she wants to be there to support you. She testified as to a condition of Sammy when you two were together. So he was erratic when you two were together. So I don't have any starting point of when he was simply with Mr. Hess versus when he was with both of you together. So by hearing that testimony, it hears that you may have been part of the